We are very fortunate to count on the very first person today. She's right here, Knellee Bisram. And you can read about her on the bio on our website. You can read about her work on the website. And she's here to talk to us a little bit about mindfulness and the importance of that in the classroom. So without further ado, let's get started with our first session for this amazing event, hopefully an amazing event. Knellee, you've got the floor. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Heinrich. And this is truly an honor and a privilege to be leading this wonderful cast of teachers and educators from around the world, all working for the benefit of our friends in Puerto Rico. So my name is Knellee Bisram. I'm joining you from South Florida. And I represent AHAM Education, and we do mindfulness and emotional intelligence education. We offer tools for educators and other professionals, really helping to bring resilience and compassion to communities in the hemisphere, the Western Hemisphere. So we're going to actually jump right in. So we're going to start with a practice. In this session, we're really going to explore, so the title of the session is Building Resilient Communities Using Mindfulness-Based and Mind-Body Tools. And so we're going to jump right in with a practice. I have with me a sound instrument, so I'm hoping that the sound carries and those of you that are listening can hear and participate. This is going to be as much as possible an interactive session because the nature of mindfulness is practical and experiential. So I invite all of you to really be present and engaged during the time that we're going to be together. So without further ado, I'm going to ring I'm going to sound the instrument, and then I'm going to guide you through a short practice. It's called soft belly breathing. And this is actually a practice that is used by the Center for Mind-Body Medicine, which I do believe is doing work right now in Puerto Rico. And the Center for Mind-Body Medicine travels around the world and brings mind-body and mindfulness tools to build resilience in communities that have recently suffered a major traumatic event like a natural disaster or some kind of or violence and things of that nature. So let's begin. So sitting or standing upright, balanced. If sitting with the feet flat on the floor, just letting go of any objects that you might have in your hands, or if you're doing something, just taking a break from that. You can choose to either keep your eyes open or closed. If your eyes are open, allowing them to gaze downward. And now beginning to feel the sensation of your feet, and then allowing your attention to travel up your legs, feeling your clothes touching your skin, and then having a sense of the body as a whole. And whenever you're ready, and now bringing your attention to the breath wherever you feel it most vividly. So this might be in the nostrils or the chest or the belly, finding the breath. And then with each inhalation, just noticing the full length of the inhalation traveling through the body into the belly. And then with the exhalation, noticing how the breath moves from the belly through the rest of the body, out through the nostrils, and just really becoming familiar with the physical sensation of breathing. Now setting the intention to feel the breath as it moves into the belly on the inhalation, allowing the breath to be long and smooth, and then softening the belly, allowing the belly to contract and soften as you breathe out, and this time through the mouth. So just taking a few breaths in this way, breathing in through the nose, belly expanding, breathing out through the mouth, belly going soft. Just knowing that breathing in this way and attending to the breath in this way stimulates the vagus nerve, which might, in just a few breaths, give a sense of having a relaxation response. So let's together a final in-breath through the nose and out through the mouth. And perhaps setting an intention for yourself if you're going to join us for some time within the next 24 hours, setting an intention for yourself, whatever that is, or for your weekend or for the rest of your week. And closing with the sound. Okay, so thank you so much for engaging in that short, soft belly breathing. Also can be called a mindful breathing exercise. Part of mindfulness practice involves what we call mindful inquiry. And mindful inquiry is simply looking into the experience truthfully and just allowing the experience to be described in a way that's true to you, and really seeing what we can learn about ourselves. So as I continue, I invite those of you that engage in the practice to type in the chat one word or a phrase that describes what you noticed when you did the soft belly breathing exercise. And again, this is intended to be interactive. I'm not going to scan all of the comments in the chat, but just really so that you have an experience of what it feels like to do a full mindfulness practice. Go ahead and type in the chat a word or a phrase that describes what that was like for you without judgment. So I am going to continue. Okay, I'm not seeing. So some of us are saying I felt relaxed, attentive, focused, gentle. And the truth is that, as I said, this session is about using mindfulness-based tools to build resilience. What we just did was a mindfulness practice. So what we experience in mindfulness there may be a range of experiences. Some of us may feel focused, some of us may feel relaxed, some of us might actually notice anxiety, right? That it might be a challenge to actually settle down because it's not something that we do every day. And so mindfulness is really about the awareness that we bring to present moment experience. John Kabat-Zinn, who is one of my teachers, and who is the person that created the mindfulness-based stress reduction program that is taught in hospitals and schools, and even in the British Parliament, is taught all over the world. His definition of mindfulness is that it is paying attention intentionally in the present moment, from moment to moment, with an open, curious, and non-judgmental attitude. So from that definition, what we can capture is that mindfulness is not so much about what we experience, but about the awareness, the the quality of awareness, and the intention that we bring into an experience. So we can think of that as the attention of the mind and the intention of the heart. And so mindfulness is actually a practice. It is also a state. It's a state of awareness that we can experience. And it's also a trait, what's known as a trait. So a trait is, you can think of it as our natural ability to be conscious and present and aware in any given moment. And what we know from neuroscience is that just like when we go to the gym and we build our muscle, our physical muscles by lifting weights or doing different exercises, mindfulness practice actually induces a state of awareness. And if we practice over time, it's like building our brain muscle. And then we are able to increase our trait level of mindfulness. So I'm going to jump to the word resilience, because we said that the title of this presentation was Building Resilient Communities Using Mindfulness-Based Tools. So resilience is the ability to bounce back from an event or an experience in a way that allows us to grow and to heal. So what does this have to do with mindfulness? And so we're obviously here because we are supporting our friends in Puerto Rico who have just lived through several traumatic events actually in the last few years. And so what does a practice like mindfulness have to do with building resilience? So mindfulness, as I mentioned, allows us to build our capacity to be present and to clearly see what our experience is from moment to moment. What mindfulness and what the studies have shown can also do is to enable us over time to build the capacity to be resilient, not just in events, big major events like the ones that are happening across the globe, whether it's the fires in Australia or the traumatic events happening in Puerto Rico and in other places, but also just the daily experiences that we have, whether it's the stress of traffic or finances or family issues or or just the stress of learning to speak another language or being in our work environment every day. So the nature of mindfulness is that the practice allows us to create a space between stimulus and response. And in so doing, we actually are able to stimulate part of the nervous system that allows us to recover from stress. So before I continue, and I'm going to go a little bit more into that before my time is up, but what I'd like to do is for us to engage in another practice called a body scan. It's going to be really short because I think I have about 17 minutes left, so we have time. Okay, so we're going to engage in the body scan practice. And the body scan really can help us understand. Before I go there, one of the things that happens when we experience a traumatic event is that trauma actually takes hold in the body, right? We experience trauma. There's an emotional reaction that occurs, and then usually that trauma takes hold in our body. And so doing movement, which we're not going to do today, but which I encourage you to do. So whether it's walking mindfully or shaking and dancing or doing mindful yoga, any kind of movement that's done with attention or that is intentionally focused, as we did with the soft belly breathing just a moment ago, can have the same impact. The body scan that we're about to do is another way to engage mindfully with the body and to begin to uncover just what might be going on with the body. What's happening? Where are we storing stress? What can we discover about ourselves as a way of taking better care of ourselves? And so this is something that requires obviously a little bit more information and practice, but just know, I'll give you a simple example. All animals shake when they have if they get in a fight, or if they have an accident, you'll see them shaking it off afterwards. So that just gives a sense that just like animals, our bodies need to shake and move, and we need to do something to release that trauma from our bodies. And so any kind of mindful movement or the body scan can help with that. So we're going to spend about 5 minutes doing the body scan. So you can do this if you like to. You don't need to see my face to do the practice. You can literally lie down on your back, or you can sit up in a chair, or if you want to do it standing, that's fine too. The purpose of the body scan is to fall awake, not to fall asleep, or to stimulate any kind of relaxation per se, although relaxation can happen. And so what I invite you to do is to close your eyes if that's comfortable. If not, you can just lower your gaze and begin to just let your body be completely still. So if lying down, just feel the sensation of where your body's meeting the floor, or if sitting, where your body meets the chair, of standing, feeling your feet on the floor. Noticing the points of contact. And now allowing your attention to scan throughout the entire body and just expanding your awareness so that it envelops the body as a whole, from the crown of the head to the soles of the feet. And now let your attention on the next inhalation travel to the belly, just becoming aware of this breath, following each inhalation and exhalation. And then on the next inhalation, beginning to move our attention with the breath, moving your attention to your feet. Feeling the sensations in the feet, noticing what's there without judging, without wanting it to be different. There might be tingling, there might be sensations of temperature. Maybe there's fabric or whatever surface the feet are resting on, just feeling that sensation. And now allowing your attention to travel from your feet on the next in-breath to the lower legs, sensing and noticing whatever might be present here. Just allowing the body to reveal whatever is here. Breathing in, moving attention to the knees and to the thighs and hips. Allowing all sensations, whether they are pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Exhaling, letting go of the legs. Inhaling, becoming aware of the torso, the back. Moving attention on the next in-breath up to the middle back and the rib cage. Feeling the diaphragm moving up and down. Feeling the chest expanding in and out as you breathe in and out. Breathing in, becoming aware of your chest and your shoulders, your upper back. Breathing out, letting go of your torso. Breathing in, becoming aware of your arms, fingertips, palms, wrists, elbows. Allowing your attention to go deep into the muscles and the tissues, the bones and the joints, and just sensing what's here. Without striving for any particular experience or wanting this body to be different. Breathing in and breathing out, letting go of the arms, and now allowing the attention to go up to the neck, head, and face. Just bringing this bare attention to each part. And then all the way up to the crown of the head. And now on the next inhalation and with every breath thereafter, just continuing to expand the awareness now from the crown of the head to the feet, slowly, breath by breath, until there is a sense of the body as a whole again. And now allowing a sense of appreciation to arise in the heart for having taken the time to notice the body in this way. This body that has carried us for an entire lifetime. This body that contains its own wisdom, that can reveal to us everything that we need in this moment. This body perfect as it is imperfect. And now allowing your attention, whenever you're ready, to go back to this breath. And just continuing to pay attention, opening up your attention back to the screen. If needing to change your posture from lying to sitting, taking your time in doing that, and just transitioning back to our session together. So thank you so much again for engaging in that very short body scan practice. This is another practice that is, I would say, a staple practice that is taught in mindfulness-based resiliency trainings, as well as the Center for Mind-Body Medicine that I mentioned. And so this practice is highly recommended for populations that are recovering from trauma. And it, as I mentioned before, mindfulness is a practice. So it is intended to be practiced on a regular basis, so that we can begin to experience the benefits of paying attention in this way to the body. So if those of you that are have access to the chat, if you could just type in a word or a phrase that describes what you experienced, and it does not have to be something pleasant. Just keep it real. Just whatever showed up for you that you'd like to share. And then I'll continue for my remaining 5 minutes. So someone says slowness. Yes, so slowing down. Relaxation can happen. What happens is that when we slow down and notice our breath in this way and move attention with the breath through the body, we stimulate the relaxation response that some folks experience that. For some of us, it's difficult because we're not used to it, right? And what starts to happen is that we start to become aware of the nervousness and the anxiety that's right below the surface. A feeling of impatience, a feeling of anxiety, feeling of discomfort. And so that's okay. This part of the deal here is to really get comfortable with the uncomfortable, because within that anxiety and impatience lies information that we can use for ourselves. Mindfulness is inclusive. It is also not meant to be forced. So if you do feel uncomfortable and like you need to stop while doing a practice like this, you can always stop and start over, okay? Or do it within the time frame that's comfortable for you. The other reason that we might experience this is because it takes a moment for our sympathetic nervous system, which is what gets agitated or what gets triggered as we go through a stressful day. If we don't have the habit of slowing down, what tends to happen is that we're all revved up all the time. We're constantly being triggered. We're constantly in fight or flight mode, essentially, even when it's not a major event. So when we do a practice like this, where we're now stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system, which really allows us to put the brake on and to recover from stress, it takes a minute for that recovery to be experienced. It may even take practicing multiple times. And every time we practice is going to be different. So I've tried to give you in a nutshell, what mindfulness is from an experiential approach, because I could sit here and talk to you about the science in great detail, and I can give you a lot of information, but I found from the many years that I've been practicing and teaching mindfulness that the best way to learn is to just practice and to learn from our own experience, and to really use the wisdom of our body and the wisdom of our mind and our heart to kind of inform what feels right to us, because nothing is excluded in mindfulness practice. So I really want to thank those of you who've been actively engaged, and those of you that are listening and that will be listening to the recording, for not only engaging in the presentation, but for taking the time to support our friends in Puerto Rico. And I invite you to please donate by either scanning the QR code that's on the screen or by going to bit.ly/ELT4PR. You can type that into your browser and then you can donate at that link. And if you would like to learn more about mindfulness and how it can help you or help those that you care about or the communities that you're working in, you feel free to reach out to me. I believe my information is in the timetable. I'll be happy to provide resources, or you could go to our website, ahameducation.org, AHAM, education altogether.org. And again, please donate. Every bit counts, and we look forward to seeing you and to hearing from you. And I hope that you continue to participate in the remainder of the sessions that we have lined up for you. Thank you very much.